Welcome to another Quantum Conversation. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Welcome, beautiful hearts. We are here with another episode in the Quantum Conversation Summit Series, Timelines, Creating the Highest Benevolent Outcomes. And my guest today is a beautiful guide and way shower and coach, and actually a master of timelines, or his understanding of timelines. Addison Ames has been working with Metatron, gaining deep insight into timelines and actually the ascension process and the journey that all of us are on as we make our way from our minds to our hearts. Let's welcome Addison Ames to this beautiful conversation. Thank you, Addison, for being here. Welcome.
Loren, thank you for having me. It's wonderful to be on, and hello to everybody watching. Thanks for being here.
We are excited about this. So timelines, this is timelines, a way to heal. So now we're talking about healing. And this is actually, it seems like it's going to be incorporating all of these lost parts of ourselves or timelines that kind of frayed off and went off on their own. I'm going to let you explain. That's my interpretation of it. Let's have you start by saying what a timeline in your definition is. How do you see it? And then tie it into how this helps us on our healing process.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, first of all, I really want to say thank you, Loren, again for having me on, but also thank you for putting together this summit around timelines. It's something that I'm very passionate about in my work. I've seen people working with their timelines really change their life and change their life trajectory, helping them to heal and be more empowered to live a whole new life. And in human consciousness right now, timelines are really growing. They're in books, they're in TV series, TV shows, TV series, movies, in all kinds of different forms of media. We are seeing timelines being talked about again and again. So I think humans are really ready to understand that we all have our own personal and energetic timelines. And this is one of the questions I ask people that I work with many times. Did you know that you have your own personal energetic timelines? And some people say, I've heard about it. I don't really know what they are. They sound pretty interesting, but I didn't know I had my own. But really, everything that is in our existence has a timelines matrix. And as we as humans begin to understand ourselves more fully in the overall evolutionary process, the rising process, the ascension process, in your work, my work, and all others who work in this field, helping humanity to realize that you are more. We are more than just a single thing, a simple thing. We're a complex being that really lives throughout space and time. As we have begun to understand that through all of this work, we understand that timelines are part of the organization and structure of existence. So as we understand this, we're able to become our own timelines masters, which means that we're able to realize that we are always reading and writing the stuff that is contained in our timelines. And let me explain more about what that means. You asked to explain what timelines are, is they're really a very simple structure to understand. And in my work, I try to demystify things and make things easy for people to understand. But I liken a timeline or timelines to canisters that you would have in your kitchen. So you might have some canisters in your kitchen for coffee or cereal or granola or pasta or flour or whatever it may be. So you may have a set of canisters in your kitchen lined up and organized that have your stuff in it. So timelines are just like canisters you would have in your kitchen. They hold and they organize. So very simple understanding of timelines. They hold and they organize. What do they hold? They hold everything that you can possibly imagine and more. So they hold our energies, our emotions, our memories, our thoughts, our actions, our words, our soul light. Really, everything that you can possibly imagine and more are all held in our timelines. They're an organizational structure that helps us, I'm using the human as an example here, helps us understand ourselves in space and time. So, does that make sense, Lauren? What do you think?
Yes, it absolutely does. It really does. And so it helps us begin to understand how we create timelines. Because if it's our energy, if it's our feelings, it's our emotions, it's our thoughts, then we better be pretty aware and astute on what we're feeding into that timeline, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
we're distracted out in the world about things that we don't like to see in the world, that's actually going to strengthen that timeline, not only for the collective, but for us, right? It's almost a manifestation timeline, is it? Or do you see it as separate? And then this gets into jumping timelines. But yes, it does make sense.
Mm-hmm. So, this whole read and write concept that you alluded to there, it's almost like a hard drive on a computer. We're kind of sending information up and we're accessing information so that we can understand, we can know, we can heart, mind, and soul our way through life. So, we're never truly alone, Loren. Even if you go out into the forests in are they called forests in Costa Rica? Or what do you have there? You have
Jungle.
jungle. You have jungle in Costa Rica. Even if you go out into the middle of the jungle and you feel like you're really alone out there, you're never really alone. So we're all connected. And that's a very wonderful scientific and spiritual and emotional understanding. Everything in our existence is built through connectivity, and we're always connected to our timelines, and we're always filling it with information and accessing information. So, if we really care about improving our world and helping humanity know and grow, it matters what we put into our timelines. We have our own personal energetic timelines, but we are part of larger timelines. Like you're part of a larger timeline of Central America, Costa Rica. We're part of humanity timelines, Earth timelines, universal timelines. They all ladder up and stack up. So if we are filling our timelines with kind of rancid information, and again, going back to the canister analogy in the kitchen, you wouldn't want to fill the canisters in your kitchen with old rotten food. You want to fill it with the best, freshest food. So as we become more cognizant of our timelines and what they do and how they stack up and ladder up and affect the all, since we are all connected, it matters what we put into our timelines. Are we putting the best, freshest, most pertinent ideas, emotions, light, sound, vibration, etc., in those timelines? Or are we putting low stuff in there? Are we putting rotten food in there? And it goes all the way down to our thoughts, what we're thinking, what we're feeling. We can be very nice to people on the outside, but sometimes we're mean to people in our head. So as we kind of change our mindset, become more heart-led, more soul-led, and let the niceness and the beautiful love of humanity shine through, we are really changing the timelines and moving into our highest possible timelines for us, for our civilization, our society, for Earth, and for each other. So, what we put into our timelines is important, and what we access from our timelines is important. And I'll talk more about that in a moment. But does that answer kind of your question, Lauren?
Yes, it does. It really does. It does help explain it. And it does help explain the importance of being aware in every moment of our energy. It is our responsibility, and we're
Mhm.
beginning to see that importance. Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah. And it's a good thing. I mean, for me, I think it's a good thing for everyone to remember we're never alone. We're always connected to the all. And
Mhm.
so, I've been a believer for quite some time of living a circumspect life, which means really watching my thoughts, my words, kind of the different layers of thought that I have. Am I thinking the best things about myself? Am I loving myself? Am I being kind to myself? Am I being kind to the jungle, the toucans, the birds, the hawks, to my neighbor, to businesses that operate in my neighborhood, to whomever it may be? Because if we really want a world of love, light, bright, and beautiful, it really does have at least a little something to do with us, if not a lot to do with us, because we're always feeding the all, where we are in conjunction with the all, and we really are the all. So it really matters what we do.
It really matters what we do. I love that. And so we have our marching orders. And that's why feeding the timeline with our energy and our vibration. And, we can feel, I think maybe this was in another conversation, but after a process with the Arcturians, I began to see how a thought that I had actually changed my energetics, my emotional energetics within my body. And
Mm-hmm.
I saw how that thought would like go down, and some thoughts make you lift up, but other thoughts, wow, how they would spiral one. And it was just a thought. And then
Mm-hmm.
it was very powerful to feel how the thoughts were connected to the emotions. And
Mm-hmm.
so as we're doing a cleanup job for the thoughts, what do you recommend us as a guide? How do you determine when, wow, you're not feeling right? How does it feel in your body? How do
Mm-hmm.
you become aware that, wow, this is not the highest energy? And so then what do you do? Because we get better at feeling it, right? We can begin to feel it. But what do you do to shift it, transmute it, pull yourself out of it, raise the vibration?
Well, I think it's a great thought stream that you just shared. I'm the way that I work is I see the integrated human. We are a lot of parts and pieces here and there and in between. One of the things that I see in timelines work is people many times are not only accessing their current life timelines or pertinent current life timelines, but they're accessing other life timelines that sometimes can be harmful. And I say other life, it could be past life, it could be future life, alternative or parallel lives. There's a lot of things out there, and we're a very complex being, or more than just a being. We're an integrated thing of heart, mind, soul, data, information, light, sound, vibration, that really we're a very connected device, a very connected being. And so sometimes those lower thought streams can be related to old ideas of oneself, old timelines, old energetic connections, and may not always be in the here and now. So a lot of people come to me and say, I can't, I'm in a cycle that I can't get out of. I can't break out of this thought. And it almost seems to not be me. And I hear this a lot right now, Lauren, and people that come to me and they say, I feel like it's not me. There's something going on here that's not me, or I'm not really being me. Have you heard that with people before?
Yes, absolutely.
And I think many times that's timeline connections to other aspects of self throughout space and time. And so there can be many different impacts on the way that we think. We are thinking beings. And as I said, I see the person as an integrated being, but thought is a big part of it. And thoughts carry very intense frequencies and vibrations. And so, again, going back to living a circumspect life, I really encourage your audience, watch your thoughts, guard your thoughts, and as much as you can, connect with your soul. And the best being to transmute your thoughts, I think, is your soul. And so a tool that people can use, and I do this in many different ways, is kind of rub your chest, which I see as your soul space. It can be your heart space too, but I kind of, for me, my soul energy is right about here. So I rub my soul space and I say, soul, transmute my thoughts, please. And the soul can really help transmute those thoughts to higher ideas because I think our best guide many times is our soul. And so, as we're able to tap into the soul, acknowledge the soul, and say, hey, can you do this? Which is kind of like a bigger idea of us, it is able to send us the energies that we need to be able to be the best that we can be. Our soul is our best guide. It wants us to fulfill all of our soul destinies as we move through life. We're not really human in a way. And this is a way to see yourself is you look in the mirror, you see a guy, a girl, a they, a them, whatever it may be, you see a person. But really, we are a soul incarnation of higher light, of higher energy. So if we live kind of in the tundra of everyday existence and don't realize that higher part of us, we can lose out on some opportunities to kind of cash in on higher value. So, allow yourself, in answer to your question, allow one's self to say, soul, I'm going to call you in on this one. Can you send me some energy, some light, some vibration, be able to transmute my thought? I don't want to think like this. The soul many times wants us to be able to, as a human, say, I'm going to decide or choose to change my thought and do something different here. And then, if the human is willing to do that, take that action, be very deliberate and intentional in that, the soul is going to help you. So, for me, that's a great way to transmute those lower vibrational thoughts.
I can hear a question from our audience about the soul versus the higher self.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they're different? Or are they the same? Or what is your definition or understanding of the soul versus the higher self? Is it one and the same?
It depends.
Okay.
From what I see, it varies from person to person.
Mhm.
And this is my perspective. This is kind of what I'm seeing in the people that I work with in my work is a person's higher self can be kind of an aspect of them on the local, as it were, that is like a truer, higher version of themselves, but it is an aspect of the being of the soul incarnation. But yes, I would call it a higher self, a truer self, a lighter and brighter self. Sometimes I see that the higher self is the soul. Sometimes I see that the higher self is the oversoul or a higher soul group entity. So there's a lot of hierarchical structures that exist out there in the soul network of the all. So the higher self, depending on the way the person is ordinated, can be a few different kinds of beings or energies, all the way up to oversoul or even kind of guardians of self or other kinds of entities that are a higher level of the person, but yet kind of wear the hat or use the business card of higher self to help the person understand themselves in newer and higher ways.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You've helped explain it. And so I know we're talking about timelines, but something came up, and as you were sharing there, it brings this question to mind. Sometimes when people's life change so significantly or rapidly or dramatically, that is sometimes called a soul leap. Have you heard of a soul leap? Because that's pretty incredible. And it's really where maybe the human mind had no idea what was coming down the pike, but the soul knew what it was.
Mhm.
So it's almost as if the soul was orchestrating things and events to occur to take that soul leap. And it ended up changing one's life so dramatically or rapidly or significantly.
Yeah, I've seen that in my own life. I like the term soul leap. I don't use that term, but I think it's great. I see a few things kind of in humanity is people go through cycles of life. we live in an existence of structure. Everything is structured, everything from spirituality, higher self, everything has a way about it, a way that it is. And so as people exist, they go through cycles of life. Just like we have cycles in nature, we have spring, summer, fall, etc. People, as they kind of go through their life, they go through cycles. And so what I see many times, because I help people through cyclic change, is one of the things that I am doing a lot right now, is as they go into a new cycle. For example, I see a number of people that I work with that they're going into their 40s. And they're going into a whole new cycle as they go from 39 to 40, and they're going into a cycle that lasts a decade. And so the soul will say, work on this material, work on this life curricula for this amount of time, and really work through it and learn through it and share through it and grow through it. But it's kind of like you go to college, you've got a freshman year, and that lasts a year. It's a cycle. College, let's say you go to a 4-year program, that's a cycle, a learning cycle. We as humans have the same archetypical structure. So sometimes as people go into new cycles, I see dramatic change. Like from going to 30 to 40, they're really fighting their way through the 30s. They're trying to get some abundance. They're trying to figure out who they are. And then they hit 40s, they get a new job, their life changes, they meet the love of their life, they buy a house, they move somewhere else, and all these things change for them. It's kind of like a soul leap or a soul jump, but the soul is guiding you into a whole new cycle where new things and new truths exist for you, new curricula for you to learn through. Also, I see all kinds of different things that happen out there where the soul will upgrade a person dramatically. Sometimes there's spiritual awakenings. It just depends. But there can be, a lot of times people have a trajectory in life that goes kind of like this, but there can be like a pop up many times. And I think it's happening now more than ever.
And why do you think it's happening now more than ever? What are people doing, and what can we do to make it the best that we want to make it be? You've already talked to this, but in a nutshell, tell us more on that.
Sure. Well, it's part of the exciting time that we are in right now to be incarnated as humans, to be human, and to be on Earth at this time. And I think you talk about this a lot. We are alive at a very exciting time. Let's do this. Part of my role as a kind of a coach, encourager, spiritual worker, et cetera, is really encouraging people. You can do this, you can get through life, you can enjoy life, you can get to new higher ways, you can heal, you can move forward. Because now is a time of great opportunity. Because humanity is awakening so quickly right now that we have lots of opportunity offered to us. We have lots of things we can do. We can watch your show. We can watch all kinds of different edutainment, now about spirituality, ascension, understanding ourselves and the world around us. And so, with all this new complexity, I'm going to talk about complexity in a moment. I know some people in the spiritual realm, when I talk about complexity, say, whoa, we want simplicity. But really, what's happening as we become more awakened, enlivened, and understand more of the all is we're moving towards a greater complexity of understanding. So there is great simplicity and peace to be found within that. But we are, as humanity, the awakening is not, I know fewer things. The awakening is, I understand more of the all. So we have the ability, we have the opportunity to say yes, 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 yes. And with all of those upgrades come tremendous step ups. The generations before us have not had. And so, as I say many times, the key driver of ascension and growth in the human element is generational change. So, as new generations come online, explosions of new ideas, new energies, all kinds of opportunity are coming to us. So it's part of the exciting time that we are in, where more complexities are available because we can understand more of the all. And that's part of the awakening process.
As you were sharing on the complexities and a more understanding, it's almost like we are becoming aware of multidimensionality. So we can call it complexity. I do, but it's a multidimensional awareness,
Mhm.
more of the all that we're a part of. I
Yeah.
see that world when everyone truly understands how we are connected in that oneness. There will be no more wars or hatred, um, disease, all of it. We will be on course as humans. We're getting there. Not quite. Okay. Um, how would we, you've got a beautiful slide. I'd like you to share that slide because that shows us what we're doing in every moment. It's almost like living in every moment. Open and then talk about unlimited possibilities or limitless potential.
Sure.
And this timeline is perfect. What's going on here?
Well, this is an example of a timelines sequence in 1 hour of human life. And so I built this kind of based on my own life. So you can see the different colors representing different categories of information, of awarenesses, of complexities. And many people talk about jumping timelines like it's a rare thing. But really, if a person is, let's say, just like an active, healthy human, is you're probably jumping anywhere from 8 to 10, 8 to 15 timelines in 1 hour because you're
Wow.
changing. Yeah, because every time you change mindsets or focuses, or your emotional, you're hearting through different things, you're talking to different people, you are moving to different timelines, which again are containers and organizers of our stuff, our emotions, our thoughts, all these kinds of things. So, here on the top layer, you can see blue is my work, green is my friends and family. The orange is like administrative work, paying bills and that kind of thing. Gray represents some unique friends in my life. The red or the burgundy down at the bottom is my mother. So, in an hour of life, I'm kind of bouncing around in thoughts and work throughout different ideas that I need to both write to and read from, which are all timelines. And so I'm jumping timelines, thinking through different things, accessing different parts of information. And you even see dependencies. So the lines that go vertically, that are hashed lines or dotted lines, are connective devices between timelines. So many times when I work with people and collapse a timeline, there are dependencies or connections to that timeline where there's kind of cross-referencing information or energies. Because again, we are all connected. Our timelines are all connected. That's why it matters what we put into them. So there is a lot of complexity, a lot of aspects to ourself and our timelines matrix. So generally what I see is the average human, let's say in America, for example, generally has about 120 timelines open at any given moment. And they're jumping anywhere from 8 to 10, 8 to 15 timelines per hour. So as we begin to get more comfortable with timelines information, which really is only just beginning, and thank you again, Lauren, for doing this summit because it's helping perpetuate this information, is we understand how important our information is, how we organize our information and our energies, how we access it, and how we can heal by closing and collapsing old timelines and staying very, very organized in the now, in this present moment, and by opening up new timelines so we can build new things and new ideas in, new wealth, new riches, new relationships, new families, careers, whatever it may be, new children, because new timelines are like new containers to put things in that are clean and clear, crystal clear, beautiful, fresh energy containers to fill our life stuff with. So this is an example to help demystify timelines. We all have them, we all use them. We're always jumping timelines all the time. It's good to be aware of what we're putting in our timelines, be good to be aware of which timelines we're accessing. If we can become our own timelines masters by understanding these things, we can really move much quicker in the ascension process, become much more fulfilled in our life, and much happier and more well balanced.
Okay, this is fascinating. And so looking at this timeline, the example of an hour of your life, was that all the thoughts that you had or the distractions or where you had your focus in an hour? So like the phone rings and this is a timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get an email and that's another timeline. And then you're focusing on your business and that's another timeline. So it's all these, it's where all of our attention is going and how we're feeling with those attentions, where
Yeah.
we're putting our attention.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you had that your mom on there.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a conversation you had with your mom and you know, how do all those timelines connect into one? It seems like then a timeline would be this ever changing, can go in many different directions, and it's solely our focus of what we're focusing on in the moment that really dictates it.
Well, we all manage multiple things. You're thinking about this, you're thinking about that. The
Mhm.
way that I work is I'm a multitasker. So I'm kind of an A-type personality kind of person. So I don't really deal with distractions, but I multitask quite a bit. So the timeline with my mother was a memory of my mother. She's moved on, but a memory of my mother and some wonderful things she taught me. And so I was accessing that information and memories of her to get some good encouragement and some ideas about how to behave in a certain situation. So that's what that was down there.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I'm thinking about work. I've got to do this, do that. And then I say, okay, I've got to jump over here and take care of this, this, and this. So in an hour, I easily will work on some work, some friends, maybe have some memories associated with it, a little bit of administrative stuff, check in on email, text messages, maybe pay a bill or two. But that's an example of an hour where I'm sitting here at my desk and taking care of life. And many of us do that right now. It can include distractions, but the way that I kind of teach people about this, if you watch yourself and recognize, okay, I'm doing email, great, now I need to go, oh, hey there, I need to talk to you for a few minutes, I've got to get ready for Lauren's show. You can kind of feel in your body kind of a little shift as you shift focus. Have you ever felt that, like you're shifting a little bit to shift focus? Have you ever
You're
felt that?
making me think about it now. Yes. I mean, I've never thought about it before, but you're making me think about it.
So I encourage you and everybody watching, watch yourself, pick an hour of life or pick a day and watch how you kind of shift focus and see if you can feel it within you. And what that is a timelines jump. Sometimes when we get up from our desk and go to the bathroom, for example, most people jump a timeline when they go to the bathroom, for example. It's a fun one for all of you because you're kind of like, you're leaving some things behind and you're kind of focusing on your body and your wellness and the functioning, the healthy functioning of your body. So that's a very common timelines jump that people make. For example, before the recording of the show today, I shifted my focus, got ready. Okay, I'm, talking to Lauren. Here's what we're talking about. So that was a move to, for me, not just one timeline, but a multiple of timelines that have to do with you, your show, the subject matter, what I want to talk about, what, kind of my outline for our conversation is. And so it organizes my thoughts by accessing those timelines so that I can be the best that I can be for the show. So I encourage your audience, watch yourself whenever you shift focuses, even if they're subtle focuses, see if you can feel a timeline jump happen within you, which is kind of like a subtle energetic shift that happens. I know I can feel it in my own life, but I'm sure you can too. And this will help you become your own timelines master.
Wow. Okay. Okay. You are going to be teaching a webinar that goes really deep into this conversation so that those who join can ask you questions and get real specifics for their lives. It's really wonderful. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But you brought, and this is a really good skill to see if you can feel a timeline jump.
Mhm.
Do timeline jumps make us feel better? um there it's just it's like, what do we expect from a timeline jump? It's just then it's a switch of our attention.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm kind of miffed there.
You're jumping from a different set of files. So another way to look at timelines, you remember the filing cabinets that we used to have? Maybe some people still have it. You've got files in the filing cabinets of different information, maybe photos, maybe slides, whatever it may be. You're familiar with, you remember those things, Lauren?
Yes, I have one and my husband wants to get rid of it, and I'm like, you can't get rid of my filing cabinet. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
I love those filing cabinets. So
Hmm.
a way to see your timelines matrix is like your filing cabinet, and timelines are files within the filing cabinet. That's a way to see it. So even though we're just really now understanding timelines, as humanity, we've been accessing timelines all the time since our initiation here on this planet. So you're basically pulling different file folders out, putting them back in, pulling them out as you jump timelines. So by understanding it, you're kind of being, again, you're living a circumspect life, which means you're saying, what information am I really accessing here? So talking about earlier, we talked about some thoughts that weren't high vibrational thoughts. It could be there's some pieces of paper, some information in a file that you're accessing in your timelines that is feeding you, let's say, old or rancid information that needs to be cleaned or cleared. And so, if we're aware of what files we're looking in, what's in our files, and just
Oh,
like the filing cabinet, back in the old days, every once in a while you go through the filing cabinet and say, let's clean this out. What needs to go? What needs to stay? It's been
okay.
7 years. I don't need to keep these financials anymore. After 7 years, let's get rid of the old stuff so that you have a fresh, clean, and clear filing cabinet. So in a way, in timelines work, what I do is help clean out the filing cabinet a little bit, refresh it, make sure the information is good, make sure what's in the files in the filing cabinet is high quality information so that we're not digging up old stuff that doesn't serve us anymore.
Great. Okay, thank you. You've explained that well, and I get it now, and I hope everyone watching gets it. Because then the next question is, how do we heal by closing old timelines, and how do we open new timelines? And you did just explain that.
Mm-hmm.
Did go into that just a little bit more. So, again, it's paying attention to our feelings and saying, "Oh, that's an old thought. That's an old belief system." That's
Mm-hmm.
really what we're doing. We're saying that energy right there is so old. It's kind of like when we meet an old friend, or when you get together with siblings, see how the siblings, we act like we're 12 years old again.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that. We're going back to that timeline, aren't we? Because it's that
Exactly.
information, but everyone else has moved on. But the energetics of those siblings being together, or old friends who get together, like, they say, it's like we never missed a day. We're back in the saddle. We're just the same as we were when we left. That's really what's happening. I see that now. So
Mm-hmm.
it really is information, this notion of information with thoughts and feelings. So if we're really astutely aware, like you with your mother, there was energy and information you were getting from her memory or your memory of her. I get that now. So that
Yeah.
can help us heal, and it can help us open new. Can you detail that a little bit more? I know your workshop goes more into it,
Mhm.
but share more on how we can begin to navigate that.
Well, and what you said was very good. And I see this a lot with primarily females that I work with. Some of them say, when I'm around my mother, I act like a different person. It's hard
Oh,
for me to be around my mother because I act kind of like an old version of me that I don't like. And
okay.
I don't know if you've heard that from other people before, but it's because they are accessing old shared timelines with their mother, where there is the expectation, using the file analogy. The mother opens up the file cabinet, a shared timeline, and pulls out a photograph from the file cabinet of what the person used to be like when they were 12 or 16 or something like that. So the mother is accessing that photographic information and utilizing it to understand how the person is now. So what I do is I am able to go back in partnership with the client and see what the problematic areas are, like the analogy that I just talked about, or many times it's the womb. And I've been spending a lot of time in the womb lately, Lauren, because a lot of clients that I work with, um, most need womb healing because there are energies, shared energies with the mother that can be very challenging, or with the family that can be very challenging for the forming baby to deal with, which, it's already a being. And when conception happens, there's genetic action, but then the soul drops in, informs the genetics. And very early on, you have a being, an energetic being that is understanding itself and the world around it, even in the womb. And so there are timelines and file folders that exist in that time that many times need to be cleaned and cleared, healed, and even collapsed. And a collapsing of a timeline, I'll use this analogy. I think you might enjoy it. It's like if you have a walk-in closet and you walk into your walk-in closet every day and you see clothes hanging there, old clothes that you don't like anymore, they don't suit you anymore, and they bring up bad memories. Would you want to keep those clothes in your walk-in closet?
No.
No.
But
So
some of us like to, some of us like to, we can't let it go. Like if we've gained extra weight, we want to wear that someday. So we hold on to it. I get that. That's a great analogy. Wow. That's
so
a
in
great analogy. Why we cling to things.
so when we collapse a timeline, what we do is we take those clothes down off the hangers, we box them up, and we send them to an offsite storage facility. If anybody's ever, rented a storage unit in a building, maybe 5 or 10 miles down the road, and store something there, we don't delete their information because it's part of them, really, but we just move it out of the way so it's out of your closet, out of your house, out of sight, out of mind, and it's 5 or 10 miles down the road in a storage unit, and you don't need to worry about it anymore. And that's the collapsing of a timeline. So that can be very freeing for people, especially when we're looking at womb healing, ancestral and generational stuff, past life, other life kinds of energies. Many times those can daunt us and keep us from moving forward. So sometimes we heal, clean and clear, or collapse a timeline. Or if there are other lives that have good energies in them, empowering energies, what we can do is kind of find those and pull some of those energies forward into the person's current timelines matrix to help them understand themselves in broader ways as a bigger being than what they are, to have more aspects of themselves understood on the local person, and to feel more empowered, to feel more energized, and to feel more whole. So it's a beautiful work that we do with timelines, and can be both healing, cleaning and clearing, and very empowering.
Yes, okay. I know that all of those watching are really eager to bring in the New Earth timeline as
Mhm.
well. And we know that New Earth is a frequency. So if New Earth is a frequency and we want to bring in that timeline, for the group collective here, all the light workers and the healers and the people on the path of awakening who are watching this, what advice do you have for opening up new timelines? Can you give us a short example or an idea of where we begin there?
Well, let me first provide this wonderful tool for your audience, Lauren. And it's about cleaning and clearing your old timelines. And I think this will be a big help to create the new earth, which is really predicated on leaving the old behind. You know, when you get something new, you go out, you shop for something new. Let's say you want to go buy a new car. The idea is you buy a new car and you give them your old car in trade. So that's what the new earth is. Buying new, doing new, allowing yourself to get new, and trading in the old. That's really what it comes down to. So when one is going to sleep, and here's the tool for you. I encourage you all to try this for 7 days in a row. Is when you're going to sleep, get very comfortable, go through your nighttime regimen, lay down, maybe meditate for a few moments. And when you're laying in bed, lay on your back and kind of just take some deep breaths, 3 or 4 deep breaths. Connect with your heart, your mind, your soul, your integrated being, and just take a few moments to do that. Really go inside, connect with yourself very fully, and just say, soul, clean and clear my timelines. Soul, clean and clear my timelines. And this will be an activation where your soul will start to work on cleaning and clearing your timelines so that you can get a little bit more clarity, a little bit more fresh thought, and feel more freedom and unblock more to be able to move forward. And this is a very simple tool, one that you probably can feel and you may see great benefit from. And I really encourage consistency. Try it 7 nights in a row. If you have guides, call them in to help you do it. If you'd like to do it longer, you can. If you feel like it's working, keep doing it. But try for 7 nights in a row and see if that really can help bring some change into your life and indeed help bring in the new earth.
What a gift that is. Thank you for sharing that. I hope everyone is writing that down and remembering to do that process for 7 nights.
Mm-hmm.
That is not much at all. And it actually, I can just imagine the dream space that night as well. There's a lot of work that will be done there during that dream space to help clear. So what types of dreams have you witnessed this with people that you've helped? There could be clearing dreams. There could be dreams that maybe not so sweet and fancy, but kind of maybe a little uncomfortable. But that's not to worry because that would be indicative of that timeline being cleared out, like we're being done with it,
Mm-hmm.
so that we're fresh and new. Wow.
Very well said. And the reason why I encourage this tool to be done right before bed is because we're not actively living, we're not distracted by the television or the telephone or whatever it may be. It allows our souls to work on us and work for us. So I've seen it in my own life, definitely have some dreams that really range the gamut from kind of bizarre, to be really honest, to
Yeah.
magnificent and everything in between. Because what's happening is there probably are some timelines collapsing that happen in your dream states when one practices and uses this tool, some cleaning and clearing and some healing. So, I've seen some past life stuff, some other life stuff. Some of it can be kind of bizarre. And some people go, I don't know what this is, but I know it helped me. I know it helped me to feel a lot better. So I do encourage people to, check in with yourself, make sure you're ready to try this tool because there can be some energetic, diffusion of old energies and some healing that takes place. And whenever there's dramatic healing, sometimes the body feels it, the emotions feel it. So there may be some experiences that you have in your life that are reflective of what's going on in that timeline's work at night while you sleep.
All right, beautiful. Thank you for that beautiful, powerful tool. We will put it into action. Awesome. And let's just observe our timelines. You've really helped to explain what's going on. It's funny how we want to define timelines. When we first heard it, was like, wait, what? We're collapsing timelines? What does that mean? We're jumping timelines? What does that mean? You've helped really identify and make it succinct in our understanding and the complexity of it. Like even in this conversation, we've jumped timelines.
Oh,
We
sure.
have. I can sense that because a shift of vibration has uplifted, and we're
Mhm.
all feeling uplifted. We have a deeper understanding. That right there is a timeline shift. I get goosebumps just thinking about that. So when we look out at the world, many people may not know what is going on. They may not be aware of this, but they are. And so that's what makes every one of us watching and listening and an understanding of this able to help people in our collective by holding steady in our own beingness, releasing the old. We can just chalk it up to it's the old junk. And now we're bringing in the new energy. And all of that gets in the way are the timelines. So whether we understand it or not, it really is an upward, let's say it's ascension. It's raising our vibration, being new without the old stuff coming in. What do they
Mhm.
say that, 99% of this moment or 95% of this moment is all the old stuff from the last moment in the past. So I love this topic and I love the conversation that you brought us through and the understanding that you gave us. And you're going to go deeper on this topic.
Mhm.
You've got a webinar. Your webinars are great. This is Personal Time with Addison, everyone. If you want to ask him your questions, be in his wisdom and his space that he can help you in your life. This is a webinar that's going to take place. Scroll down on this screen and you'll find it. But Addison, share with us what we can expect from this webinar and who it's good for and what we're going to learn.
Well, thanks, Lauren. The webinar is live on July 11th, 7/11 at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for 2 hours, and it'll be available for download on Lauren's Neo Network website after that. And I'm very excited about it. I'd love for all of you to come who feel called to do it. I'll be talking about time and timelines. And for all of those who attend live, I can give you some personalized information if you're okay with sharing that with the group about your own timelines and some things that you can do to upgrade your timelines, get in touch with your timelines, heal your timelines, and teach more in depth about timelines. As you may be able to tell from this conversation with Lauren today, it's a pretty complex topic. So we're really kind of just touching on what time and timelines are, but we'll go deeper. I'll take your questions. It'll be very interactive, very enjoyable, very enriching. And I encourage you check in with yourself, ask yourself, should I attend this master class? Is it right for me? Check in with your guides if you have them. And if you get a yes, by all means, please come. I'd love to have you there. I really enjoy teaching these master classes, and I like to have the biggest live audience possible. So if you feel called to join and be part of the live audience, it'll be a lot of fun for you. And if not, I encourage you to download or to access the masterclass afterwards. I think you'll find it very enriching and enlightening.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that. We are excited for all of Addison's webinars, so please check that out and join Addison. It's a very beautiful program at a very affordable price for everyone to go deeper with Addison Ames and the wisdom that he shares with all of us. There's also an option for earlier programs that Addison has done and recorded. That's an option that is there. Check that out and see if that makes sense to you. It's just beautiful wisdom that Addison has brought forth. So Addison, do you want to share anything about those earlier recordings? You were channeling Metatron. He is your guide, and some of those actually have wisdom directly from Metatron coming through.
Yeah, thank you, Lauren. There are 3 master classes available, all which feature Metatron as channeled by me. And he talks about you, which is a very empowering masterclass, encouraging you to know yourself as more than just a simple thing, but a complex and beautiful being of great awareness. And two other master classes that are really wonderful. I can't remember what they were right now, Loren, but they're really exquisite master classes. I have to say myself, I was impressed with them because of Metatron's work, not really mine, but I'm present there. And I think if you like Metatron, if you appreciate his energies, you would really benefit from checking out these master classes as well.
Yes, it's a beautiful opportunity to access all of that beautiful high vibrational teachings with Metatron through Addison Ames. And then, of course, to dig deeper into your timeline mastery with Addison on that webinar. Thank you, Addison. This has been really uplifting. And again, we've made some timeline shifts.
Yeah.
And I guess that is the joy of being at this point in our time. It's a choice point, and we
Mhm.
get to clearly navigate by the feelings and emotions that we have. And that literally does change the world. So as you look at, as we close our conversation, I want to leave you with a question to share with us.
Mhm.
When you see the world choosing the best timelines, what does that world look like to you?
A much improved world? And this is a great question. Um, where I see humanity right now is we are mastering NICE, NICE. If I look at societies, communities, and cultures all around the world, love is what we're reaching towards. Love is what we're trying to do, but we're not love masters yet. What humanity is at in a very rational, is that right? In a very reasonable light, is we are mastering nice and kind. And actually, if you look around the world, even though there are some speed bumps, we're actually accomplishing that. We're doing that. We're reaching up and we're moving towards love. That's where we are right now. As we talked about earlier, as we have more awareness of everything, these kind of complexities of the all, understanding more of the all, we realize that we need each other. We are all connected, and therefore we respect each other more. So I see our world very clearly moving to a place of greater ideals like kindness, nice, mutual respect, oneness, and love. And we're definitely on that path. I have a very positive viewpoint about where humanity and Earth is headed. We're getting better, we're getting kinder, we're getting nicer, we're becoming more loving. And I really believe this is what's happening. We're all part of it, and we are all substantive in it. So it matters what we do, how we live, and how we think in order for us to get there. So I'm very excited. I think it's a great time to be alive, and I think we're going to great places.
Awesome. And so that's why we keep doing what we're doing, and we keep on keeping on, and we enjoy and have fun all along the way. And do not let anything, anyone, or any place take us from our energy of joy and our timelines of love. So we can be masters of love as well as timelines.
Right.
Thank you, Addison. This has been so beautiful. Any final thoughts?
Well, I'd like to share this as a final thought. I'm going to share my screen just as a gift to your audience. These are three timelines, activation phrases of power, and write them down. I am my timelines. I activate my timelines connection now. I bless my timelines. I send my timelines healing energy. And you can write these down, put them on your refrigerator, put them in your workspace, say it throughout the day, say them throughout the day. And these can be very powerful activations for you to use as you would like throughout your life, throughout your daily life. And it can help you really activate that connection, empower that connection, heal your timelines, and really enrich your life. So I leave your audience with this. I encourage you, pause the video, write these down. They're very powerful, and I think that they'll really help change your life. I leave you with that.
So beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, shifting our timelines. Thank you, everyone, for watching us. Again, check out this workshop with Addison and master timelines. Thank you. Thank you all for watching. And Addison, thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you,
Namaste.
Lauren. I really appreciate you, your work. Thanks for having me on. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. This has been a presentation of New Earth One Network, your home for New Earth living. Access information, education, and videos on living from the heart in unity consciousness. Visit newearth1.com.